Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. I'm back here today to do a little bit of classical. This is classical night. And I just learned something today. I've been in music for a long time, but no matter how long you're in something, you can always learn something new. And it was one of the things I learned, movements, what the word movement was. I hear it all the time when it comes down to classical music, movements. And I kind of thought I know what it was, but then I had to do a little research and get a better understanding of why they call it movements. So I'm going to do a reaction, first time reaction. I think I may have heard this song, but I'm still going to do a reaction and review to a song by Mozart. It's Mozart's Night. But this song has 4 movements. And I wanted to make sure this time I'm going to try to identify the movements in this song. And from what I learned, it was pretty simple. It wasn't that as complicated as I thought it was. A movement goes back to the days, the Renaissance composers. They would write music for dance music, what they would call dance back in those days. And they would create music for different kinds of dances or movements, such as fast, slow, or quick. So a movement, if you didn't notice, and probably some of you, if you're coming to this, you probably already noticed, but movements are sections, which I knew it had something to do with section, but the sections move you in a different way. So movements or songs for specific moves are what they're talking about when they're talking about a song has 4 movement. That means I'm probably going to hear a slow section, maybe a waltz section or a fast section or something like that. And I found that quite interesting. I knew it had something to do with sections, but I didn't really know the history behind why they call it movements. And if you have anything to add to that, or if you want to correct me on anything, feel free to in the comments. But I'm going to do a little bit of Mozart tonight. And I don't know much about him. I think I may have heard this song in a movie or something like that, just listening to like the first 5 seconds of it. But I'm going to let my man V-Man take over for a second. You hang around for about a minute and let him explain to you who Mozart was and a little bit more about his music. And then I'm going to come back and do a reaction. That's how I do. So hang in there for a second. Go ahead, V-Man, take over.
Okay, Mr. Mindset, it's chamber music time. Hey there, music enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. Today, we're diving into the captivating story behind one of the most iconic compositions of all time, Eine Kleine Nachtmusik by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Picture this, it's the late 18th century in Vienna, a city abuzz with artistic innovation and intellectual fervor. Our protagonist, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, enters the scene, a musical prodigy beyond his years, destined to become one of history's greatest composers. Born in Salzburg, Austria in 1756, Mozart showed extraordinary musical talent from early childhood. His father, Leopold, was a successful composer, violinist, and assistant concertmaster at the Salzburg court. He and Wolfgang's mother Maria exposed him to music at a young age and soon recognized his extraordinary potential. They then embarked on a tour across Europe to showcase the young boy's astonishing abilities. As Mozart grew into adulthood, his career flourished. He composed an astounding range of works, from symphonies and operas to chamber music and concertos. His ability to effortlessly fuse technical brilliance with profound emotion set him apart as a true musical genius. However, despite his musical prowess, Mozart faced financial struggles throughout his life. His lavish lifestyle and lack of stable patronage often left him in dire financial straits, forcing him to live on the edge of financial ruin. In 1787, Mozart found himself in Vienna, the epicenter of European music and culture. It's here that he crafted Eine Kleine Nachtmusik, a serenade that encapsulates the elegance and charm of the era. Now, Eine Kleine Nachtmusik belongs to the genre of chamber music, specifically serenade or divertimento. These were lighter compositions meant for entertainment, often performed in smaller settings. Mozart's Serenade carries 4 movements, each with its own distinct character. Mozart's prolific career, however, was tragically short-lived. He passed away in 1791 at the age of 35. His untimely death has sparked speculation and fascination for centuries, but his legacy endures through his music. So, next time you listen to Eine Kleine Nachtmusik, remember the extraordinary life of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a musical prodigy who forever changed the course of music history. Alright, Mindset, it's time for you to put on a classical ear to listen to this music composition. I'm sure the folks want to know what you think about it.
So it's getting late for me, and so I'm gonna jump right into this reaction on hearing this song Eine Kleine Nacht. I'm not gonna even try to say it. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm gonna just get right into the song, guys. Listen in. I'm still learning how to tell when they move from one movement to another. But I just want to say, I'm thinking the things that you picture in your mind when you're listening to this type of music, man. I mean, the movies have kind of brainwashed us. Some of the movies that we watch that has classical music, you see people doing business or rich people running around and stuff like that. So these are the type of things you picture in your mind. But I'm also picturing some of the musicians, and I see why you see a lot of times you see them when they're playing the music or listening to music. You see people, moving their head like that because the music just makes you. It's just like any kind of other music, R&B, rap, or whatever you listen to, rock and roll or country music, where all music has its own type of beat, their own type of dance moves. You know what I mean? So I find that quite interesting. Let me go right back into this. Okay. You change keys right there. Yeah. Bring it back to the top. I keep hearing that little line. Yeah, I like that. Sounds like we're taking it home. Wow, man, I tell you, music. I played in orchestras as a kid in high school and stuff like that, and in college and whatnot. I was just playing the music. I didn't have time to think about who wrote it and their background and their history and that type of stuff like that. When you get older, you start thinking about, hey, who are these people? What were they thinking when they wrote that? I always find it amazing about classical music that they didn't have the equipment that I have. Like I have kind of expensive equipment to create a song. I use a keyboard. I got drum machines. I have modules that I can create. I can create that whole song with just the piano because you got the sound banks and stuff that you can create sound lift sounds from and stuff like that. But when they were writing this music back in the 1700s, 1800s and stuff like that, they didn't have, as far as I know, they didn't have anything close to this. Those songs were written where a guy just sits at a piano and starts pecking out what he's hearing in his head and taking a pen and writing down some type of code, writing notes so somebody else can later on replay what he heard in his head, if you know what I mean. I think that's amazing. Like I do the same thing if I'm writing a song or if I'm covering somebody's song or something like that. But I have an advantage because I know what the drums are going to sound like, the bass guitar, the guitar, the horns or the strings. But those guys, when they're writing a song, they didn't have a violin player sitting there going, hey, I'm going to write this, see what it sounds like. I'm sure at some point in time you had to test it out on some type of group of people, violins or cellos or whatever you had to do. But for the most part, this guy starts out on a piano and he pecks this stuff and writes this stuff down and creates this composition. To me, that is way more amazing that, you could even do that without, like, you're hearing this whole symphony, this composition, you're hearing this whole thing in your head and you're putting it on paper and you got to make sure it's right. So when you pass that piece of paper for somebody else to read and play, it's got to come together, if you know what I'm trying to say. That's amazing. And my appreciation for music is growing with this channel way more than it was when I was younger. I played music all my life, starting back I'd say about the 5th and 6th grade, all the way through college. My appreciation for the music wasn't quite what it is and what it's becoming, because like I said, I just knew I could play by ear, I can read a little music and that type of stuff, but I really didn't care about the music. As I get older, I kind of care about the music. I care about the history. I care about how music has an effect on your emotions, on your psyche, how a song could change the whole way you feel about your day. You listen to that song we just listened to, if you're having a bad day, that could change your whole. It could, if you're being lazy that day and you know you got something to do, put that song on and you're gonna jump up, put your pants on, and go do what you got to do. That's what that kind of music has an effect on your emotions and your psyche. So anyway, that was my take on listening to that. I'm giving it to you real. I'm not trying to make it sound like it came out of textbook. I'm trying to make it sound like how it makes me think, right off the top of my head. And I appreciate you coming back to the channel. Now, for you guys who like that rock and roll and you like the country and you like the soft rock and the blues and stuff, we're gonna get to all that stuff. The channel's building up. I mean, we're trying to get the monetization stuff straightened out right now. And once we get everything glued together in the next couple of days, I'm gonna try to touch on everything. Remember, every genre. On this channel, we're gonna be talking about looking at music in different ways. Please don't just come to the channel for one particular type of music. Be like me. Listen to some Metallica, some Queen, and then listen to some Garth Brooks, and listen to some rap, and listen to some blues and stuff like that. Don't corner yourself into one type of music. And that's what I'm not going to do here. So I hope you visit me every time you see a video to see if there's something that you can learn. Appreciate music. Music is important. Music sets the tone for life, and that's what I'm trying to do for my life, having something to set the tone. When I'm feeling like I'm getting old and rusty, I put on something that makes me feel like, life is still going on. And I want you to do the same on the Music Mindset channel. I'm going to see you next time we do our next video. Thanks for checking us out.